Hey, Naima Singletary here with the power to lead. And today's topic is collapsing time and space for quantum growth. It is such a joy to be here with you today. Remember, I always welcome your comments and questions. So whether you're here live or you're watching this as a replay, you are welcome to leave me a question or a comment. And I always come back and see what questions and comments you guys have for me. So first of all, remember the theme for the week is the 1% life, right? And that there's a way of thinking and being to have the 1% life. And when I talk about the 1% life, I'm not even just talking about the material. I'm talking about the way your mind works so that you can create what it is that you want. So how does collapsing time and space fall into this? I really love this topic so very, very much because out here in the regular world, and you already know this, it's incredibly boring, isn't it? Like everybody is playing by the established rules and the way things are and the way they've always been and what's normal and what's safe and what's acceptable and what people have approved of. But when you are collapsing time and space and you are bringing the future into now and you are looking to create results that do not currently exist in your reality, you are collapsing time and space. And even if you've never done this before or you're hearing this for the very first time, you know how to do this. Remember when you were a kid and there was this character who you liked, whether she was in a cartoon or she was in your favorite show, and you would be her, right? You would, if she was a princess, you would play princess. If she was a mother, you would play mother. And whatever character that you really loved, you would be her, even if you were 5 years old and the character that you were playing was Superwoman or some adult woman. As an adult today, it is the same skill. And so I want to give you some assignments to take away for you to practice collapsing time and space, because if you've never done this before, it's going to feel really hard because it's you using faculties that people don't normally use in what I call the muggle world. So first of all, let's talk about what this even looks like, collapsing time and space. And let me define that for those of you who are hearing this for the very first time. Collapsing time and space is taking where you, in the normal, if you say to yourself, oh, I would like to make $100,000, right? The average person probably thinks that's going to take them an exorbitant amount of time to do that because they have a conditioned mind, right? If you ask my nephew who's 11, he swears he's going to be a multimillionaire like next year, right? So he hasn't been conditioned yet and hasn't had his hope and belief beat out of him the way most adults have. And so I ask the average person who's looking to make change to their business how much money they plan to make, and they're like, $100,000 is probably going to take me like 2-3 years or something like that. They don't have the understanding of time and space, and most of them have been conditioned to believe that, first of all, you have to work really, really hard, and that is going to take a long, long time. And so collapsing time and space is a totally different mindset, that's what makes it hard, because you're practicing a different mindset that you never have before. So it takes longer than like somebody who's been practicing it for a long time. And that's why when people find me they see that I've created these quantum results over the last several years, they look at me and they think like, wow, she's just so magnificent. But the truth is, I've been doing this for years. That's why I'm able to do it with such speed now. So that means if I've done it with such speed and I've taught so many other people to do it with such speed, you can do it with such speed. So the collapsing of, hi, Dion. I didn't watch the full video of yours, but I think the video was of you at your venue, the venue that you put inside the group yesterday. I'm guessing, I don't know, because I didn't watch it and I didn't actually hear you talking. I just saw it in my feed. So the definition of collapsing time and space is you overriding what most people would say the normal amount of time to do something to make it happen quicker. It also falls into the category what I talked about 2 weeks ago when I talked about bringing the future into now, okay? So something that you think is going to take 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and bringing it into now is an example of collapsing time and space. And you do this by doing the following. And actually, this would be a great It would be great if Dion, if you were here on camera with me to talk about what I'm guessing what you were doing in this video in London at your venue, where you're gonna have your women's gathering. So this is what it looks like to collapse time and space. So I remember when I first started to transform my relationship with money and really started to practice wealth consciousness. I was following this multiple seven-figure coach at the time. And I got this, what I'm getting ready to share with you, this first one I got from her. And the rest are things that I've cultivated on my own. And she would tell stories about when she was cultivating her wealth consciousness and the things that she would do before she actually had the money. This is how you collapse time and space. So listen very closely, okay? If you're a note taker, this would be a very good time to get pen and paper and take some notes. So, collapsing time and space when you are transforming your relationship with money and looking to expeditiously bring more money into your reality. Not like, oh, I gotta wait 6 months because I'm new, and oh, I gotta wait 3 because this is how it works, or this person said they were gonna talk to me and I'm gonna wait until this and do that. This is how you collapse time and space when you're transforming all of that drama going in the head around money. She said she would go to, and I started to do this too, so I know it really helps with getting you into the essence, into the spirit of a thing, and what I imagine Dion was doing too, is she would say, go to the places that you absolutely love. So for me, it was bars at 5-star hotels. Because, you know, if you don't have a lot of money, it's not like you can stay at the 5-star hotel, but maybe you can go to the bar, buy a $20 drink, right? At these 5-star hotels, buy a $20 drink and sit there and drink that drink slowly. I mean, and really take your time. Like, prepare to go there, dress nicely, walk slowly, and really imagine yourself there on a regular basis. Now, this is practice. You know, you go to the gym to get your muscles, and you do your yoga to get your breath and to get your body fit and lean and flexible. When you're working to flex your mind as it relates to creating money, this is your practice. This is one of many. I'm going to share more. This is one. You go to the places that you love, that perhaps you don't have the money yet for. And then the places that you can't physically go to, go there and picture. So Pinterest, there's an app called Pinterest. You may or may not know about this. You can do it online. Go to Pinterest.com, or you can download the app on your phone, Pinterest. And like, if there's a place that you want to travel to, go to Pinterest and look at pictures of that place. Go look at reviews of that place. Go look at videos of that place and imagine yourself that this is your work. Like, this is your workout, you know? This is your workout. In school, they teach you how to memorize math and how to study this, and right? But they don't teach you about how to cultivate a healthy relationship with money and how to collapse time and space so that you're not among the normal people in the world who thinks that it's going to take you, 10 freaking years to reach a goal. You can do so much in 2 years. I remember, oh my God. Okay, this just came to me. So you know how on Facebook, they show you memories, and I'm going to get to some more, but I want to share this because it just dropped in my consciousness. You know, on Facebook, they show you memories of things you posted 1 year ago, 10 years ago, depending on how long you've been on Facebook. This morning, I opened up my memories, and I had written something like, and I'm going to put this on Instagram today too. It said something like, if you want to see, and I put see in the quote, I said, if you want to see a brand new service-based business cross 6 figures in 1 year, watch me. I said, if you want to experience building your own brand new service-based 6-figure business in a year, join my mastermind. I said that. The date on that was February 2014. Because remember, I told you I came back out into if you've been paying attention to me, you've heard me talk about my coming into the industry. And then 2013, I fell into depression, and I was like in deep depression for like 7 months. And then in 2014, I came back out, and I made making money a priority, making a difference, and big money, not the money I was making before, but bigger money. And within a year, actually it was a little over a year, I crossed 6 figures. I declared it in that Facebook post, and I have the receipts, baby. I got the receipts. Brand new service-based business. And yes, I had the experience, but the point is, there was a connection with that though. Collapsing time and space. Oh, the speed of it. The speed of it. Most people don't think that they can cross six figures in a year, especially when you're outside of the buckets. Remember, I did a training yesterday and I talked about when I was talking about how to identify what you have that clients will pay top dollar for. And one of the key points that I made is that anything that's truly in your heart, truly, 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 truly in your heart to change, and it has to be pure, purely yours, signaturely yours, people will pay top dollar for, even if it doesn't fall inside of the three primary money buckets. So in the transformation space, the three primary ways that people make money, or that the average business coach will tell you that you have to choose, are wealth, money, career, that field, wealth, career, money. The second one is beauty, so weight loss, skin, hair, beauty, makeup, that. And then the third one is relationships, so love, parenting, platonic relationships, friendships. So the average business coach will tell you you need to choose one of those three and see what you have that fits into one of those three to get to six figures, multiple six figures, seven figures, and be successful. When I made my first six figures in a little over a year, it was in helping women heal sexual trauma. You know why I won? Because it was purely in my heart to do that, and I made a decision. It was not like, I'm gonna try my best, I hope, I'm gonna see, I'm gonna pray, I'm gonna ask for this, no. The decision was, I'm going to cross six figures in my business in a year helping women heal sexual trauma. And I did. And guess what? In summer of 2015 is when I moved to Italy. Actually, I went there for thinking it was going to be 7 weeks. That turned into over a year, and have been in Europe most of the time since then. Starting with making the decision, and it didn't fit into any of the traditional boxes. This is what I mean by when you are playing outside of the muggle world and you are collapsing time and space, these things that I'm talking about here, you produce results that other people are not able to produce. And this is what makes you an anomaly. This is why I always use this word anomaly. I don't care about baby steps. I don't care, fine. For everybody else, fine, go for it. Me, I'm not interested. I'm interested in quantum. So how else do you collapse time and space? And I'm going to do some reiteration here. You be her now. If you are a woman who runs a six-figure business, and that's a small number. So when you get there, you realize how small six figures actually is. So let's go to $500,000. If you're running a woman who runs a business who is making $500,000 every year, what kind of decisions is she making? Is she allowing people to just call her to talk on the phone? Is she allowing people to be late on their payments? Is she allowing her partners to not follow through on their agreements? Is she allowing herself to take 6 months to make decisions? Is she eating poorly and feeling poorly throughout the day? Is she wasting time? Is she not following through on her agreements? Is she doing small things, or making small petty movement and decisions? Or is she making big decisions because she wants big results, because she wants a big impact? Whether she's service-based, product-based, whatever her business is. But if she's looking to grow, what kind of decisions is she making? What kind of people does she have around her? What's her behavior, her practice? To collapse time and space, you make the decision now for the future. Now, what makes this difficult? Here's what makes this difficult. For example, remember I told you about the first time I invested in that $30,000 mastermind? I did not have $30,000. The average mind would say, well, I don't have $30,000 right now. There's no way I can do this. I can't afford it. Because on a literal muggle mind, it's easy to say, I don't have the money. But if I'm saying my desire is to run $1 million company, what decision do I make today that sets me up for the $1 million company? That's how you collapse time and space, which means you have to make a leap into an unknown with the expectation that you're going to have the thing that you want. So maybe your current reality is $5,000 a month. You edge your way to the next $1 million mark. You don't make a decision at a $5,000 level. You make a decision at a $10,000 level. Then a $15,000, like that's how you get to these numbers quickly and collapsing time and space. Now, again, if you don't care about speed, then you probably don't care about collapsing time and space. Go ahead and do it at whatever speed you want. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a bird that just came onto the window. There's nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying is, I love working with people who love quantum results, supernatural, blow your fucking mind, I cannot believe what the fuck just happened type of results. That is what makes this shit exciting. That is what makes this thrilling. I'm telling you, when I closed my first $65,000 client, I was like, bitch, this is it. I was like, this is the lick. I'm not going back. I was like, I'm not going back. This is it. Game over. Because once you go there, you are so over these people who are like, I can't afford it. And these people who want to make these small payments to do things. And these people who are like, you're done with that. Like, and if you do still want to serve those people, then you make a package that's smaller and you come with the energy that this is to serve more people at a lower price point. I mean, like, cause frankly, that's what the 5-figure clients from Melanin Messengers course. I'm like, okay, this is $1,000. Obviously, this is not for a person who, is at the, because I'm not somebody who typically is going to invest in $1,000 package because of the level that I'm at now. Like, I want big, massive, like I'm looking to grow. Like, I want big packages. I'm getting ready to invest in a $50,000 package. A person who's at $1,000 level is not ready to jump typically into a $50,000 package unless they are. Because if you are, right? And only you know that. So like having that understanding of who, like where you're going and making decisions accordingly. So you cannot come to me and tell me, Naima, I'm looking to cross 6 figures or multiple 6 figures, and then tell me you want to enroll in a $300 program. Or, oh, I can't afford $1,000. Oh, I can't afford $5,000. I can't afford to. Oh, then I don't know what game you playing then. Because the game of stepping into 6 figures, the game of stepping into whatever the amount of money is, and you need a lot of I'm here to service those who are changing things through their business and have big visions that require millions of dollars. I'm not here for, the others. That means you and I must learn the skill of collapsing time and space. So that means you have to make hard decisions that are of future-based decisions. To make a decision today to invest in something that's 20,000, 30,000, or 5,000, 10,000, whatever the reach is for you, okay? That is how you collapse time and space. And then you doggedly, this is the hard part, you doggedly hold on to that vision, which means you literally have to block out anything and anybody that's in opposition to the vision. You might have somebody that comes and say, don't you think, right? And most of the time it's going to be in here, though. It's not even going to be other people. It's going to be in your own head. It's like really guarding your mind constantly. Like, I remember you guys, I'm telling you, this is like you got to cultivate this white heat inside of yourself, and you got to get that momentum going. You got to, it's like a machine. I'm telling you, it's like a muscle. For those of you who have been in the gym, you know how you start working that treadmill, and then you start off slow, and you might warm up for 2 minutes, get your blood pressure up a little bit, get your heart rate up a little bit. Maybe you're not sweating, but you start to feel your body get a little wet on the outside, right? And then after about 2 to 5 minutes of warming up, then you get it up to 8 minutes, and then you get it up to 10, and then you speed it up to like 5.0, and then you start running, and then you work that up, and then you work that up, and then your heartbeat start going, and you breathe it, and you feeling it, and then you start sweating, and you got to dab that sweat, and then you get it up, right? And then you burn, right? And you run for 30, maybe 45 minutes. It's the same way when you working up your cultivation with this money thing. This is what they didn't teach us. To collapse time and space, to produce now what does not currently exist, is you working up that white heat, focusing on the thing, blocking out anything that doesn't happen until you demand it in. You, as you said, you command it in. And you get really good at this, and you create a whole new reality for yourself. Then you become an anomaly. Then you become magnetic. You create these results that have never been seen before, and people around you are like, what the fuck? This is how you produce haters as well. It says, are you how do you produce? So when you're in this workout, it's a conscious choice that it's like you're going into a vortex. You're going into this vortex. You start reading only the books that feed you. You start to read only the context that feed you. You lay down with the book. You go to sleep with the book. You wake up and you stretch and you go for a walk and you practice the thoughts. You go to the physical places that are feeding that. You're looking at pictures on interest. You're looking at pictures on Pinterest. You're having conversations that are high vibrational your whole day with the focus on a particular goal. Remember, you stay focused on the particular goal. So if your goal is to close your first $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 package, your whole energy is focused on that while you're engaging in these daily activities. And then you put the deadline on it too. You say, okay, I want this $10,000 package by March 15th. And you focus your attention there and you work up that heat inside of your system and you make the choices now that a woman who constantly commands $15,000 packages thinks and acts and feels. Does this make sense? Tell me in the comments if this makes sense. Now you see this workout that I just described? This is why people don't make it. They're not willing to do this. Because I'm going to tell you what happens. The mind will fuck you up. The mind will have you seeing things that aren't even there. The mind will have you making up stories, especially in the middle of the night when it gets quiet and it's just you and your mind and you start thinking about the things that you're doing during the day and you start thinking about the fact that you've never even made $5,000 before and you have the nerve to want to call in $15,000 and your mind will start saying this kind of shit. Right? The first time that I called in a $65,000 client, I hadn't even had a $20,000 client. You got the nerve to be calling in a $65,000 client and you never even had a $20,000 client? This is what I mean by collapsing time and space. You have to understand how fake this all is. The clock, like humans use the clock to regulate themselves. If there was no clock, most people wouldn't know where to be when and where to go and when to go and all that. We use clocks and space to fill up things, to feel things, to have some sense of reality on the ground. But when you start dealing in the quantum, when you start dealing in the quantum field, and see, they don't talk about this in church. This is why so many Black folks are missing out. They don't talk about the quantum field in church. A lot of the church folks who I've talked to are always talking about a heaven later. What about now? They talk about a heaven later. They talk about this kind of self-sacrifice that is like a kind of suffering where you can't even get anything done because you're so busy suffering. What I'm talking about is you being so lit up and taken care of and tapped into yourself that you can serve in this high level that God is calling you to serve. Tell me what the Bible, I would love to hear it. Tell me what the Bible says about the quantum field, and then maybe you can teach that in a way that Black people can get it. Because the Black people who I have talked to, and I lived in Houston, Texas for 4 years, which is in the South, there was always this self-sacrificial heaven later kind of theology. Heaven later, you're going to get it all when you get to heaven. God has the kingdom of gold for you in heaven. When you die, you just give yourself to, in this world self-sacrificially. And I think people don't know how to translate that into the business world. I did a Facebook Live yesterday with a gentleman who talked about he had come from a career path of ministry. And he said that when he came into the business world, because he was so used to giving everything away for free in ministry, that he had difficulty with making a thriving business in the business world. In the business world, there needs to be, for folks who come from, the Baptist, Christian, whatever the theology is, they need to learn how to translate whatever is discussed in the quantum field that you're talking about, Dion, because I don't know about the quantum field being discussed in the Bible, but whatever is discussed, that needs to be learned about how to apply in the business world, because we are here in the third dimension and we must learn the skills of bringing down the higher intelligence and applying it to the third dimension. Otherwise, we're going to be just like them. And if you didn't already know, the best thing you can do for the poor is not be one. The best thing you and I can do for the poor is not be one, which means we must get comfortable with riches, financially and otherwise. And it's work. It is work, darling. and it's difficult, and it's a long game. It's not just about 2019. It's not just about 2020. It's for the rest of your life. I have been playing this game of business building and transformation since 2011, and I got real serious about this money game in 2014. This is 5 years later. It's a long game, and you only win with the big numbers sustainably if you're committed to the long game and being willing to do all the hard stuff that I've talked about in today's show and more. All right, I'm wrapping up. I'm out of here. I'm going to be on Instagram Live in about 5 minutes or so, because I'm on Instagram Live Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific until March 18th. Lots of love. See you tomorrow.